is an invitation, so don't get too hung up on how it looks, and instead just focus on how it feels in your body. Go at your own pace. Alright, let's pause this. We'll start with a seated meditation, then go into movement, yoga, functional movement, lymphatic shaking, some joint resiliency, and we'll end with a nice long shavasana. I'll play one of my new crystal singing bowls that I'm babysitting, crystal sitting right now. So let's get started. Seated up nice and tall. Sitting with the heart over the hips, head over the heart. Hands come to rest down on the lap, either palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close or lower to a soft gaze if that's more comfortable for you. We'll take 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and an audible sigh out through the mouth, shoulders drop down and away. Allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available, returning to a natural breath's pace. We'll take a moment here to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And just become present to yourself here in this moment, here in this space. And begin to allow sounds into your awareness. Sounds might be at a distance, like singing birds or passing traffic. Or they may be coming from within your home. Allowing all sounds in, all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. Feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. Weight of your hands on your knees. Just getting a general sense of how the body feels. Just kind of a whole picture impression. And we'll begin to scan the body from head down towards toes. And checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity. Any restlessness or fidgeting. We're just taking note to work into those spaces that call out for your attention throughout your movement practice today. We'll shift that awareness from the body, Annamaya Kosha, to the energetic level, Pranamaya Kosha. Noticing on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at energetically. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl into bed. 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. Bring the awareness to your breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. Shift that awareness up to the mind, Manomaya Kosha. Allowing thoughts and feelings to arise freely. But no need to engage with them, just observing them from a distance. Just notice, what are the quality of the thoughts today? Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. And bring the attention back down to the breath, this time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale, let something more go. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose and into the belly. Belly expands, inflating like a balloon. And exhales, release belly button in towards spine. Deflating, squeezing all the air out. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Dr. Modi Sarkar. Welcome in. We're just beginning our pranayama, our breathing exercise. For the month of April, we've been working on box breath. It's a 4-part breath. We inhale for the count of 4 through the nose into the belly. Hold the breath for the count of 4. Exhale for the count of the 4, also through the nose. And hold the breath for the count of 4. So that's one cycle. We just work in continuous cycles here. We'll start together, and I'll just start counting just so we all start at the same time. First, we'll take a cleansing breath. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, continuing at your own pace here, counting within your head to the count of 4. So if you feel rushed, slow down the count. And if you feel like you're holding your breath for too long, then quicken it up. You want to have a full inhale and a full exhale within that count of 4. Good morning, Mom. How are you today? Happy Wednesday. So you're going for the longest length you can to slow the breath down. We want to keep all 4 sides equal. So the inhale is equal to the exhale, and the holding of the breath is equal. I'm doing great, doing great. You just came during a breath exercise, so we're practicing box breath, inhaling for the count of 4, holding for the count of 4, exhaling for the count of 4, and once again holding for the count of 4. We're just keeping all 4 sides equal. And breathing in and out through the nose. When the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. Next time you exhale, or this next round, just allow it to be your last. No need to rush through it, just returning to a natural breath pace. We'll meet there. When you practice this breath, this pranayama, and we're building a relationship with the breath so as that we can work with it as a tool off the mat and in the world to help calm the nervous system out of sympathetic fight or flight and into parasympathetic rest and digest mode. It can be a nice useful tool as a break when you need a break from the rest of your day to just practice some box breath. Allow your hands to come to heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra, no space between the fingers, and the thumbs pressed into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice. Your reason for showing up to the mat today, your reason for practicing. The invitation is just to set it in the present and affirmative tense. So it might sound something like, I flow through life with ease and grace. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited to chant along with me, of course. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap. Chin drops towards chest. And on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest. Left ear rolls towards left shoulder. Just allowing the head to gently roll side to side. If you need to bring some movement into the body, it's okay for your eyes to even still be closed here. And the next time the head rolls through center, we'll bring it up to neutral and begin to roll the shoulders forward. Just opening up the space in the upper back and between the shoulder blades. We'll roll the shoulders back. Opening up the chest, the space between the space near the collarbones. Stillness in the shoulders. We'll inhale, arms sweep up overhead, just reaching tall, space in the waist. And the right hand releases down. We'll reach the left arm over. We're pressing the left hip down, glued to the ground, really opening up this side bend space. All the intercostal muscles between the ribs. Take a deep breath in here, bending even deeper. And exhale back up through center. Inhale over to the left. And exhale center. Following the breath in to bend right. And exhale to reset. So just beginning to calibrate breath and movement here. So the speed of your body is informed by the length of your breath. And since we want to take nice, slow, smooth movements, we're taking nice, slow, smooth breaths as well. Next time you meet up at center, we'll take a deep breath in to reset, reaching through the fingertips. And exhale, twist to the right. Left hand lands on the right knee, right hand lands on the ground behind you. We're just twisting the chest open towards the side wall. Inhale back up through center. And exhale, we twist left. Following the breath in to rise. And out to twist. In to rise. Out to twist. Next time we meet in center, we'll bend the elbows and hands come to ear height. We'll give the hands a shake out, so we're warming up the wrists, the hands, the ligaments, and tendons within them before we put any weight on them. Palms flip down, fingers wiggle side to side. So we're not moving the elbows or the shoulders here, just the hands are warming up. Palms look up towards the sky. It's like your fingertips are trying to hit your forearms. And we'll twist the hands. Almost like you're opening a jar, but the fingers are reaching back. Hand and wrist resiliency is something that has to get slowly built. Just step along the way. We'll just shake off water nice and gentle. 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's work on some neck opening here. And I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see what the movement looks like. but you can still face forward. That's Lucy's tail. Alright. Chin tucks down towards chest, so we're working on the neck waves here. Nose reaches towards the ground. I can't go any further. It reaches forward, up towards the sky, back, and then chin tucks back down towards chest. We're smoothing this movement out, creating these circles with the nose, just the neck, just the cervical spine and head are moving here. Still, we're breathing deep. Imagine, visualize every vertebra in your neck moving freely and independently. We'll change directions. Now it's the chin that's leading. Reaches up towards the sky, forward, down towards the ground, and pulls back in. Bring the head back to neutral. We'll just let the ear fall towards the shoulder. Just kind of release, side to side. Give the head a shake no. Alright, let's extend the legs out in front. Get some movement in the lower legs. So I try to bring some new things in, but I know we're always doing neck and head rolls and all of that. I just feel like, in my experience, in my body, my neck and like shoulders are always super tight. Even though I have pretty good posture, just a lot of my day just has to do with like leaning over a desk. So that's why I just keep working on that. Lots of things. When it comes to yoga or holistic stuff in general, it just takes a while to kind of build up before you feel the effects. Like you might feel the effects immediately in certain things, and other things it takes a while to even get the movement right. So as we kind of repeat certain things in class, so we're just building up that body knowledge. All right, let's bend in the knees. Feet come nice and wide. Because of this, and we're just gonna drop the knees side to side, waking up the hips. So you want your feet far enough away that your knees can touch the ground. Next time the knees fall over to the right, we'll bring our hands to frame the right knee. Bring it up to a tabletop pose. I'm going to face this way just because of Lucy today. Alright. Let's flip the palms in. So we're going to turn the palms upside down so the fingers are facing the knees on the top of the hands. So if you have the ability to do both hands, go ahead, and if not, you can do one at a time. And say you're doing one at a time, then here you are, you're just like slowly taking the weight off of one, a bit, just seeing how much weight you can actually handle. Like I said, there's no rush and there's no prize for being able to do both at the same time, so don't feel rushed. From here, the next thing you want to do is turn your arms out, so really straighten the arms out. It's better from this angle. So how will you know that your arms are completely straightened out? The eye of your elbow, so here's the point of your elbow, the opposite is the eye, is facing forward. Forward. It's like you're turning a jar, you're opening a jar. It starts in the shoulder. So if you can't quite get there, or one can get there and not the other, you just want to back off a little and then press back towards that edge. So you're going from bent, more bent than you need to be, to straight. To straight, or towards it, right? So it's okay if it's not there yet. Alright, so say your arms are straight here and your elbows, the eyes of your elbows are facing forward. Then with the fingers still spread super wide, you can start to send the hips back a bit and forward. It's very exciting. You guys can't see it's right off stream, but that's Lucy's tail dividing. Alright, and the next time you lean back, you can hold it here, but the breath continues. So we hold the breath, but not we hold the pose, but not the breath. And switching sides if you haven't already, if you're doing one side at a time. Bring the shoulders back up over the wrists. And unflip the hands, tuck the toes under. We'll sit it back on the heels to give the feet a bit of a stretch. And give your wrists a bit of a massage here. Fingers can interlace, so we'll wrist flossing. Shake it off a bit. Alright, now we'll finish with the spinal movement. So there's 6 movements of the spine. Twist right, twist left, side bend right, side bend left, and then there's a forward fold, like a rounding, and a back bend. So we get that in through our cat and cow poses. So back to tabletop, regular tabletop with the palms down, below the shoulders, knees below the hips, spine neutral. On an inhale, belly drops, hips and chest rise for cow pose. And exhaling, round in the spine, chin tucks in towards chest for cat. Inhaling through cow, hands press down and back, knees press down and forward. So it's like you're trying to scrunch your mat together to really get a nice arch in the spine. And exhaling, the hands press down and forward, knees press down and back, gripping the ground to get a deeper rounding in the spine. Following the breath in for cow, out for cat. Really pull the belly button in towards the spine in this position. And then next time you exhale through cat pose, just complete exhale here. And return to neutral tabletop pose. Try loose. All right. So let's step it up. Not even an intensity, just like literally we're gonna step up between the hands, right foot and left foot step up, heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat, and then bend deep in the knees, hips sink down, chest and head rise, like a low squat. Then the legs straighten out, heads heavy for forward fold. So we're going between those 2 movements, deep squat and forward fold. Malasana and Uttanasana. So going nice at your own pace here. There's no need to rush. It doesn't have to be the deepest squat of your life or the deepest forward fold of your life. We're just waking up the legs to this movement. Next time your legs straighten out for that forward fold, we'll stay there and the breath continues. The knees can be a little or a lot bent here if you're feeling too deep of a stretch or a strain even in the hamstrings. Let's avoid any injury by just bending the knees. Also in the lower back if you're feeling it, bending the knees will help alleviate that. Let's give the head a nod yes. Give it a shake no. Grab opposite elbows for ragdoll, creating a frame for your head. Just give the upper body a bit of a swing, forward and back, side to side. Just a little free movement, whatever feels good to you. We're using the weight of the arms and the head to help elongate the spine here. Release the arms, coming back to stillness. Heel toe the feet in to one another and towards one another. Big toes come to touch, a little space between the heels so the ankles don't knock together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. So we're in Tadasana, mountain pose. Alright. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Eyes follow fingertips. And exhale, forward fold. A little bend in the knees to protect the lower back. Inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale, hands touch down to the ground. Right foot takes a giant step back. We'll release the right knee down to the mat. Left knee's over left ankle. And inhale to Anjaneyasana. Shoulders come up over the hips. And the right toes untuck. I'm pressing the shoelace part of the foot into the ground, nice and strong. For stability. And inhaling, the arms are up overhead. Deep breath in here. And exhale, high twist to the left. Arms open like the letter T. Inhale, back up through center. Same side, twist left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. And exhale, hands release down to the mat. Right toes tuck under. We'll lift the knee up off the mat. Step the foot in another 6 inches or so that you can get the heel towards the ground. Keeping this left knee bent over the ankle, we're pressing it up to stand for our warrior 1. So this back foot's at a 45-degree angle. You can even heel toe the left foot a little bit closer to the left edge of the mat, left side of the mat, so your feet aren't on a balance beam. There's maybe hips distance space between them. Hands on the hips, mindful of bringing the left hip back, right hip forward, keeping the hips square to the short edge of the mat. Arms come up overhead. Exhaling, shoulders melt away. It's okay for the elbows to be a little bent here. Alright, we'll inhale, fingertips reach towards the sky. You might look up for a balance challenge. And on the exhale, we cactus the arms out like goalposts. And then squeezing the shoulder blades together like you're squeezing a pencil between them. Pull the elbows back towards one another. And our chest lifts up. Inhale, reaching towards the sky at an angle. And exhale, pull the elbows back. Still strong in the legs. Back leg is straight. Left knee over left ankle. Deep breath in, reaching. And exhale, pulling back. One more, reach here. And on the exhale, hands come onto the hips, extend the left leg long, squeeze that muscle, so engage this thigh muscle. You'll actually feel the knees slightly lift, locking in place. And then we'll hinge forward, so the hands are the hips, so that the left hip doesn't drag forward. We want to keep it back and in alignment. So we're coming down forward, both legs are straight or straight-ish, to where if you went any further, your spine would round. So our backs are nice and long. And then from here, the hands can release down onto blocks or the ground. And mindful here, we're pulling the left hip back, right hip forward. It's called Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. So apologies, I should have told you guys to bring some books over in case you don't reach. But here's another little trick. Say your hands don't reach the ground here. We can just use a little trigonometry, a little math, to wiggle. Sorry, I know the sound of math can be really triggering for people, but we can just bring the foot back a bit, the back foot back further. So the angle of the feet of the legs is actually wider, and then your hands will have a better chance of coming down to the ground. So it's all pretty dependent on the flexibility of the back of the leg. If you have been here while I've been talking, good on you. Just keep breathing to that back leg. You just want to be mindful, you want to be feeling it in like the belly of the muscle here. So you might feel it in the hip, that's great. If you feel it in the hamstring or the calf, that's great. If you're only feeling it in the knee, then I'm just going to ask you to invite a little bend to the knee. So you can be working towards straightening it out, but you don't want all the pressure to be in the back of the knee here. We don't really want we want mobility in the joints, but not necessarily flexibility over flexibility. Instead, we want to be opening up the muscle here. So we just got like another deep breath here. If you're here and you've got space to play, your left hip's pressed back, you can always lift the toes. So you're just on the heel, and that's going to bring an even deeper stretch to the back of the calf. So wherever you're at here in Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose, we just got one more deep breath here. Then bend deep in this left knee. Send the right foot back a little further, coming down into hands. The left foot steps back to meet the right. Plank pose. Straight line from the heels to the crown of the head. And inhale, coming onto tiptoes. Shoulders go past the wrist. And exhale, chaturanga, lowering down halfway. Tops of the feet flip. And then chest presses forward for upward facing dog. Squeezing in the glutes. The tops of the feet press into the ground so hard that the knees and hips are lifted off the mat. If this is not available or doesn't feel good for your lower back, release your thighs onto the ground. Walk your hands maybe 6 inches forward, a couple inches forward, bend in the elbows, and then squeeze the shoulder blades in towards one another. Either way, the glutes and shoulders are squeezed tight. And got a full breath here. We'll press it up to downward facing dog. So you can go through tabletop pose, toes tucked under, hips press up high, downward facing dog. First downward dog class, maybe of the day. I'm going to bend one knee and then the other, just pedaling up the feet. So this is always a great pose for like a bilateral comparison. You can notice the difference between left and right leg or hip. Our heels are pressing down towards the ground even if they don't touch. Backs of the knees are pressing back towards straight, and hips reaching towards where the back wall meets the ceiling. Head is heavy, eyes are open between the feet or between the knees, fingers are spread wide. And our elbows are turning towards facing forward, turning towards facing the short end of the mat. Breathing fully here, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. The right leg sweeps up and back behind you. Bend in the knee, and we'll open up, stacking that right hip over the left hip. Three-legged dog. So my knees reaching towards the ceiling now. It's a really deep opening for this left hip. Deep breath in. And exhale, tiger's pose. Rounding in the spine, lift the belly out of the way. Knee comes in towards nose, lift onto the left tiptoes, and shoulders come up over the wrists. Right foot steps up between the hands, and left foot steps up to meet it. Big toes come to touch, and inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Heavy head comes up last, arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. That's you. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Head tilts back to follow hands. Exhale, forward fold. You have a little micro bend in the knees to protect your lower back. Inhale to a halfway lift, making the number 7 with your body. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Left foot takes a giant step back. We'll gently release the left knee down to the mat. Untuck the toes, pressing the shoelace part of the foot into the ground for stability. Right knee over right ankle, arms sweep up overhead for Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Deep breath in here. And exhale for a high twist to the right. Right hand reaches back, left arm reaches forward. Inhale up through center. Exhale, high twist right. Once more, inhaling through center. And exhaling to twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands release down to the mat. We'll tuck the left toes under and lift the knee. Step the foot in 6 inches or so and drop the heel down so that the whole foot is on the ground and the toes are facing out at a 45-degree angle. From here, you might heel toe your right foot slightly further to the right side of the mat so that there's a hips distance width between both feet. Pressing into that front leg. Bring it all the way up to warrior 1. Hands come down onto the hips to begin. The right hip pulls back, left hip pulls forward. So if there were strings attached to my hip bones, they would be the same length to the wall in front of me. Same distance from the short end of the mat. Back leg straight, front knee bent. Arms come up overhead. And exhale, shoulders drop away from the ears. The next inhale, reaching the arms forward, fingertips reaching. The gaze can go up for a balance challenge. If not, the gaze stays down at the ground. And exhale, cactus in the arms, bend in the elbows, squeezing the shoulder blades together and pulling the elbows back behind you like your elbows are going to touch. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, squeeze it back. So just building up some upper back strength here using false resistance or like self-imposed resistance, if you will. Inhaling forward and exhaling to pull back. Last time forward. And we'll bring the hands onto the hips, extend the right leg long, squeeze in the muscles of the right leg. So you can feel that knee actually lock in place. Another deep breath in here. And exhale, hinge forward. We're keeping the right hip back, keeping the back straight. Going as far as you can with a flat back. And when you know if you went any further, your spine would round. You hold it there for a breath. And exhale, releasing the hands down. Allow the body to fold over that front leg. And still, the right hips pulling back, left hips pressing forward. Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. And we're breathing fully here, just checking in with the body, giving it a couple breaths to kind of calibrate the mind with the body and just see how it's going there, and just like relaxing any parts that don't serve you. If you're clenching your jaw, if you're holding anything near your neck, just let it go. Shoulders. The focus here should be in the back of the leg. If it's in the knee, just bring a little bend to the knee. And you can just work towards straightening it out. So when you're in a place where you're like, okay, but the tension or the strain or the stress is in the joint, you just bring it into a dynamic movement instead. You press out and a little bit further in. Press out and a little bit further in. Mouse Camp, hello, welcome my friend. Happy Wednesday. So we're just here in pyramid pose, working on dynamic stretches. If you feel the strain in the knee, we want to avoid that. But if you don't, you're feeling it in the belly of the muscle. You want to go a little further, you can lift the toes up. So you're just on the heel and you're going to feel that much more intense stretch on the back of the leg. So just got another breath or so here. Finding ease in the pose, even in the discomfort. Allow the foot to touch down, allow the knee to bend. We'll scooch that left foot back. Right foot steps back to meet it in plank pose. Straight line from the heels to the crown of the head. We'll roll onto tiptoes, shoulders just past the wrists. And exhale, lower down halfway. Tops of the feet flip. Band slam, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Wednesday morning yoga. So here we are in our upward facing dog. Tops of the feet are pressed into the ground so hard that the knees and hips are lifted off the ground. Mouse Camp, how did your stream go? Shoulder blades are squeezed together. Urdhva, Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Alternatively, you can release the thighs onto the ground. Walk the hands just a bit forward. Elbows bent, shoulder blades squeezed together for Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. So your choice either way. We're really opening the chest today. Got another full breath here. Then we're going to send it back. Wonderful, finally back on schedule. Woohoo! Welcome back to streaming. Let's send the toes under and hips up high for downward facing dog. So we're finding our spacing here. The closer the feet are to the hands, the deeper the stretch in the legs. The further the feet are from the hands, the deeper the stretch in the shoulders. So somewhere in the middle is going to be best, where both body parts are getting the stretch and the benefit. See you later. I was still in the room. Oh, have a good day, Risha or Rishat. Hello, hello, Yokohana. Welcome in. Welcome to Wednesday class. So here we are, heads heavy, fingertips are spread wide, shoulders are broad across the back. And how do we manage that? As we practiced before, it's that jaw turning movement. Even though the hands aren't moving, the shoulders turn open. So full breath here, heels pressing down towards the ground, hips pressing up and back towards where the back wall meets the ceiling. And the left foot sweeps up and back behind you. Bend in the knee and stack the left hip over the right hip. So now my knee's reaching towards the sky. Deep breath in. Strong in both arms. Don't let that right elbow bend. I know it's super tempting. And exhale, tiger's pose. Round in the spine. Chin tucks in towards chest. Knee towards nose. Nose towards knee. Roll onto the right tiptoes and shoulders come up over the wrists. Left foot steps up between the hands. Right foot steps up between the hands. Big toes come to touch. And inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Nice, so we're meeting here in mountain pose. All right. So we can turn to face one another. I don't know what your orientation of the mat is, but we're going to bring the right knee in towards the belly and fingers wrap around that knee. So you can find a drishti, a focal point, something that's not going to move, so probably the screen is not the best option. Just above it or just below it could work. And we're pulling the knee in towards the chest using just bicep strength. So shoulders stay relaxed away, they're not involved, just bicep curl that knee in towards the chest. So one-legged Tadasana. And then we'll release that knee so that the thigh comes parallel to the ground. So I'm just going to twist so that you can see from the side, like 90 degrees. Left hand comes to the outside of the right knee. And the right arm sweeps back behind you. So I'm reaching back, opening the chest to the side wall. So I'm going to standing balancing twist. This is that exact same shape as we are at the end of class in our Supta Matsundrasana, or supine spinal twist. We just added a balance to it. So breathing fully. The pose ends when the breath ends. So we're just keeping the breath going, even if it means you have to reset. And bring that hand back through center. So now both hands are on the knee in center. Left arm opens up, right hand opens up the knee. So now it's more like a, I don't even know, Captain Morgan pose type situation. All right, we're strong here. I'm gonna just change the grip so the hand comes behind. And now here's the strength challenge. We're gonna work on extending that leg straight and bringing it back to a 90-degree bend. Extend the leg straight. Back to a bend. It's okay if it doesn't go completely straight. We're working up these quadricep muscles, and that takes time. Back to center, float it down. All right, take a deep breath in, let it go. All right, so let's get off of this left foot. Knee comes in towards the body, fingers interlace below the knee. You can roll out that ankle. Okay. Working on building up all these stabilizing muscles in the knee and the ankle and the foot. So using just core strength, we're pulling the knee in towards the armpit. So remember, it's just like a bicep curl. We're not getting the shoulders involved at all. Shoulders, neck totally relaxed. That bottom leg is straight and engaged. So I'm squeezing the muscles around the leg. So we're building up the endurance to keep these muscles flexed and engaged throughout the entirety of the movement. And we'll release the thigh parallel to the ceiling. So, or the floor. You don't have a ceiling. Maybe you're practicing outside. So right hand comes to the outside of this left knee. I just kind of grab it just so it's doing some of the work. And the left arm sweeps open behind you. So I'm helping open the chest towards the side, bringing a spinal twist into this balancing posture. Breathing fully, even in the contortion of a twist. And bring the hand back through center. So both hands are in center. And then the left hand reaches up, guides this knee open. Right arm counterbalances, extending out. You can change the grip so the hand's on the outside. That'll just help open up this hip. So we want the knee and the toes to be facing the same direction. So my standing leg, knee and toes are facing forward. My bent knee, toes, and knees are facing out. Deep breath in here. On the exhale, take a slow motion side kick. Bend and extend. Bend and extend. Next, we're working towards 3 there. We'll bring the knee and the hand back to center. Release that foot to the ground. Let's take a deep breath in. Let it go. And now let's shake it out. So there's like that tension between finishing a pose like that, a balancing pose or whatever it might be, and that wanting to shake it out, wanting to release that effort, that tension. We just like kind of work towards observing that, giving it a moment just to acknowledge it, and then actively shaking it out. So actually we're going to do a lot of active shaking right now. It's called lymphatic shaking. We're going to bring a bounce to the body, just letting the shoulders rise and drop, rise and drop. If you're not into full jumping, that's okay. We'll just lift the heels and allow them to drop with bent knees. So you land with bent knees and let this reverberation shake start in the whole body. So just continuing like this. So what is lymphatic shaking? Well, this is what it looks like. But why do we do it? We do it to help drain the lymphatic system, which is a physical system in the body that helps release toxins and waste products. And it relies on movement to function. Unlike the circulatory system, which has the heart, that's a pump that helps push through all the capillaries, veins, arteries, and whatnot. We don't have a pump for the lymphatic system. I said it relies on movement, and this type of movement really is invigorating and helpful for that to work out all its processes. Lymphatic shaking also helps disrupt the pain receptors in your nervous system. So you're actually helping reset and interrupt certain signs that are being sent to your brain. Lar 44, yay, lymphatic shaking, yeah! Oh good, I'm glad, great to have you in class. So I like to just add a little bit of the shoulder lift and drop because I've also found that it's been very helpful for me personally to help release tension from the upper back and shoulders. That's just kind of like where I hold a lot of my tension. So just by lifting and dropping, just letting the arms flop, that can help release. So that's the whole Western medicine explanation of why we do this. In Eastern thought, there are parts in our body in yoga. They're basically like blocked energy points. So we call them samskara. And basically the belief is that you release those through movements in the body. So through certain yoga poses, through certain movements. And these are just basically unresolved traumas that we've manifested into physical points in our body of stuckness. So this is a way of moving through them. You don't even have to name them. It's not like a therapy thing where you have to like know what it is that bothered you. It can be the smallest or biggest thing. We just let ourselves move through that. So we're working towards 3 minutes of lymphatic shaking, which is the recommended dose. We just got like 15 seconds left here. You can be exhaling through the mouth at this point. I know we've been just breathing in and out through the mouth this whole time. For 3, 2, 1. Just take a moment here and just notice how that's affected you. Maybe a little tingly sensation, maybe warmed up a bit. And we'll come into our breath of joy. So this is separate from lymphatic shaking. This is all about letting go. It's a breathing exercise. And it's 4 parts. It's 3 inhales in through the nose, in, and a big ha out through the mouth. So on the inhale, arms sweep forward. On the inhale, arms sweep out. On the inhale, arms sweep forward. On an exhale, the arms throw back. Ha! So we've got about 10 of those. So you just want to be careful that you're not touching the wall or any furniture around you. Feet are like shoulders distance apart, nice little bend in the knees. And we're breathing in, ha! In, ha! You can yell as loud as you'd like here, in, in, ha, in, ha, 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 ha. 3 left. If you haven't joined in yet, now's your chance. Ha, ha. Last one, make it count. Ha, ha. Hand on your belly, hand on your heart. Eyes can close, feet nice and wide for stability. Let's just take a moment here to arrive and observe. What was created? Taking your body like a snow globe and giving it a righteous shake. Now we pause to see where that glitter dust settled. What was revealed? Just noticing what shows up for you when you allow yourself to take up space, to be loud. Or what shows up as resistance to keep you from fully participating. Not good or bad, not right or wrong, just something to notice. We'll gently blink the eyes open. You might grab a sip of water or towel off any sweat that may have built up. We're going to meet back down on the ground. So if you're already on the floor, we'll meet you there. And if you're not, you can come down with me. Too far. All right, so we'll meet at the back of the mat. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, hands release down. Bend in the knees deep, deep, deep. So deep that you come down to seated. Feet come to touch and allow the knees to splay open to the sides. So you give yourself a little foot massage here. I always feel it's like almost like you're opening a book. So just massaging the feet here. Also giving the hips like a moment to like unfreak out about being up here and like all scrunched in. Just let them kind of relax out. Maybe a couple of butterfly flaps. So you never want to like force the body into any shapes. When you give it a chance to just relax in the first place before we start pushing and pulling. You can grab the feet, ankles, or shins. With that grip, help pull the spine nice and tall and straight. Deep breath in. And exhale, hinge forward. Belly, chest, head for Baddha Konasana, bound ankle pose. So with that grip on the legs, on the ankles, you can use that leverage to press the elbows into the knees to get a deeper hip stretch here. So pulling hands in towards chest, pressing knees down towards ground. So am I really trying to get my hands to my chest or my knees on the ground? No, that's just the direction I'm headed to get the nicest part of this stretch. It's like my chest is going towards my feet more so than it is my head going towards my feet. It's always more of like a nose to toes type deal than it is like a forehead to anything closer. So instead of rounding, we're looking for length.
more space in the rib cage to expand, to breathe. And every exhale softens. It might deepen the press into the knees or the pull of the belly button in towards the spine and getting it out of the way for forward fold. Now one more deep breath here. Back up to seated.
Drop both knees over to the right. We're going to come back to a tabletop pose. So we're going to get a little bit more like upper back. One more upper back stretch in. So we're going to work on, it's called inchworm or puppy pose. So hands come underneath the shoulders to start. And now we're going to reach the arms forward just like in a child's pose and sink the chest and head towards the ground. So hips stay up over the knees, and I'm trying to press my chest into the ground, whether it reaches or not, and then the tops of the hands press into the ground so hard that the elbows stay lifted. So you should feel a pretty deep stretch in the armpits and shoulders right now. But if you want to go even deeper, you can begin to round in the lower back. So this is a really subtle movement. The chest is arching up like cow pose, but the lower back is trying to round in like cat pose. So as your upper back arches back, your lower back is trying to round forward. So it's really a hip tilt. And that's going to bring even more leverage, even more tension into the shoulders, the armpit area. So hips over knees, chest down towards the ground. It's mouth, chin, or forehead onto the ground. Forehead's going to be less strained on the neck. I'm just going like this so I can like speak to you guys. So as my chest and armpits are pressing down towards the ground as hard as they can, I start to round in my lower back, trying to untilt my hips in the opposite direction to get an even deeper stretch in the shoulders and the upper back. Breathing here, not holding the breath no matter how hard it gets. There are 2 more breaths. And we'll walk the hands back. All right, sit back on the heels. And we're going to do an opposite stretch for the shoulders. So hands reach back behind you and fingers interlace. If your hands don't reach, you can grab a belt or a yoga strap or like a bandana to fill in that gap. If your fingers do interlace, press the palms in towards one another. Shoulders pull back in either variation. Shoulder blades squeeze together. Deep breath in. And now really slowly, especially if your shoulders are wider than your hips. So if you have so generally women's hips are heavier than their shoulders, but men's shoulders are heavier than their hips. So just a little warning. We're slowly lowering down. Belly, chest, head. So I'm saying if your upper body's bigger than your lower body, then it's like a seesaw working against you. So we're just working towards getting the forehead onto the ground nice and gentle without smashing your nose. And then from here, we're going to roll up onto the top of the head. There's a flat part of the head. We're not going to round the neck or anything like that, just the flat part of the head. And then the arms reach up towards the sky. Maybe they reach forward. So we're squeezing the palms in towards one another instead of separating the fingers to keep the shoulders somewhat engaged in this stretch. This is called Yoga Mudra pose, symbol of yoga pose. Your heart is higher than your head. And it's basically a posture of submission. So you're like submitting or surrendering to the present moment. And just breathing here.
hands can release down to the lower back, gently sending the hips back down towards the heels, unlace the fingertips, and bring it back up to seated. All nice and slow so you don't have a head rush. The eyes can stay closed just for a minute or just for a moment, just noticing how that inversion might have affected you. And release both hips onto one side, sending the legs in front. We'll roll back to reclining. Hug the knees in, a little rock side to side. And let both knees release onto the right side. Left hip stacks over right hip, right hand lands on top of left knee, left arm opens up like the letter T. So this is just like the position we were in our standing balancing sequence. But now we just have gravity on our sides. We don't have to work against it to balance. You might even look over past that extended left arm, working this left shoulder towards the ground. Head comes up through center, knees come up through center. Gently release the knees over to the left. Right hip stacking over left hip. And right arm opens up like the letter T, palm face open towards the sky. You can look over that extended right arm. So it's okay if the knees don't touch or if they don't touch the ground. Just allowing for a spinal twist here. We'll bring the head up through center, bring the knees up through center, and just notice, is there any last wiggle or twist or posture that your body's asking for before we set for Shavasana, final relaxation pose? So all class we tell our body what to do, and now we just ask back, is there anything left that would leave for a more satisfying experience, a more restful experience in stillness in this next meditation. And just allow your body to work through that. So often when we ask our body questions, it doesn't answer in words, it more so answers in impulses or gut feelings. So you just kind of get to roll around and experiment with that as your lines of communication become clearer with the body, with the breath through this practice. It'll be a little bit less guesswork, a little bit more like a conversation, but until then you're kind of just working with it and just trusting that your body knows what it wants, what it would like, which is pretty counterintuitive to our society, which tells us not to listen to our bodies because they will betray us time and time again and have us go for, you know, the chocolate cake or whatever, the cigarettes, whatever the thing is. But often what we'll notice, or what I've noticed, is what's asking for, you know, that, you know, extra glass of wine that I don't need, or the cupcake or whatever it is. It's not actually my body craving it. It's emotionally my mind craving it. And that's a really important distinction. Knowing what your body's asking for versus what your mind is trying to escape through. So, just wrapping up these movements. Don't rush, of course, as we prepare for Shavasana, final relaxation pose. My favorite part of class. Release the legs down the length of the mat, feet Legs come at least a foot apart from one another, legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides. Shoulders tuck under the chest, and arms release down by the sides, palms face open to the sky, symbol a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. And eyes can close if that's comfortable for you. If this brings any pain to your lower back, you can bend in the knees nice and deep and bring the feet to the outer edges of the mat. Knees knock together. Then lift the hips and tuck them to gently release the spine back down onto the ground with your lower back extended. So you come on this side. So you can be here in your broken bridge pose or Shavasana. Either way, we're going to do the same practice together. Like I said, the eyes can close if that's comfortable, or a soft gaze up to the sky or ceiling is also appropriate. Shavasana is all about integration. So we're integrating all that you've practiced in class into muscle memory. Play a singing bowl for you, so we're just going to set up. And we'll start this meditation how we did before with 3 cleansing breaths. So we'll start with 3 cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Shoulders just stay relaxed, whole body stays relaxed here. And let the breath continue in and out through the nose if that's available. Invite space between top and bottom teeth. And tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth as the jaw hangs heavy. All the muscles in the lips and cheeks relax. Nose and nostrils relax as well, gently allowing air to pass through. Like waves lapping up to shore. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets. Eyelids just barely touching. The space between the eyebrows broadens. All the muscles in the forehead relax. And all the muscles surrounding the ears with all their wrinkles and folds. And all the way deep down into the ear canals rest. And the muscles in the back of the head and top of the head relax as well. Neck and throat release. And shoulders melt away. Upper arms and elbows relax. Forearms arms and wrists rest. Palms of the hands, backs of the hands, knuckles, and all of the fingers. Fingertips whole, hands alive with vibration, alive with creative potential. Rest and integrate all that you practice. Upper back, middle and lower back. Rest heavy, supported by the ground below. Chest and belly naturally rising and falling with the breath. Pelvis, glutes, and hips rest heavy, supported by the ground below. Thighs and knees melt away. Shins, calves, and ankles rest. Heels, arches, toe ball mounds, tops of the feet, and all of the toes relax. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Your mind, if only for just a moment, that inner dialogue quieted. Notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space. The places of restlessness have found peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. Know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Gently invite your inhalations to become longer and deeper than your exhalations. Fingers begin to wiggle. Toes begin to curl, and that awareness comes back to the surface of the body. Head gently rocks side to side. Arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural. Landing in a fetal position, fully released and fully supported by the ground below you. You can use that bottom arm as a pillow. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, gently press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a series of chest and shoulder opening postures. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to the community that held this space. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me today. I hope you found something that serves you. Whether you're down on the ground, practicing alongside me, or here for the meditations, or just for the shaking, or just for the singing bowls. I hope that was a good experience for you. Namaste, ethereal. Namaste, lar 44, 44. Was that, from the emotes I can tell, was that better with the singing bowl? I've been practicing not playing as loud. The bowl session was much better. Okay, good. Yeah, I think it's, you know, like when you give a little kid a drum set for the first time and they just want to like smack it and you're like, you don't have to hit it that hard, like it'll still be fun. That's kind of what it's been like with these, where I'm just like, how loud can I make them go? So I do apologize for Sunday and Monday blowing your eardrums out. But I did practice to be a little bit more subtle. Oh man, alright, so it's Wednesday. I'd ask everyone if they have any fun plans, but I feel like everyone's just gonna head over to work. So thank you for making time for me during your work weeks. Thank you for making time for yourself. I want to read. I don't really know. Oh, Lucy. Did she unsign me in? No, we're still on.